the modern day tramp stamp. Because tattoos are trending, it is a problem. If the goalposts are continuously changing, this tattoo's cool, 10 years later, it's not cool. A lot of people are getting caught with their pants down. And when the tattoo shifts, society's impression of that tattoo becomes slightly negative. That is why tattoo removal is exploding. Welcome to another episode of the Elliot Booth Show. Today, you're in for a treat. You're going to get my theories, my ideas, and the experiences that I have acquired over the 12 years that I have been doing tattoo removal. In this video, I am going to explain to you exactly why I think tattoo removal as an industry is exploding and will continue to explode. It is no secret that tattoo removal is exploding in popularity, and I believe there is 3 key reasons as to why tattoo removal is exploding in popularity. Now, the reason I am here explaining this to you is over my 12 years of removing tattoos in clinics for my own clients, I have found patterns and similarities that, including myself removing my own tattoos, have all fallen into these patterns. The very first topic and reason I believe tattoo removal is exploding in popularity is a little funny thing called trends. Now, when you think of trends, you think of TikTok dance fads, you think of maybe fashion or haircuts. Now, the thing about those 3 things is they're not very permanent, are they? This is where trends in tattoo removal gets a little bit tricky. Let me give you an explanation as to why I believe trends are a massive factor as to why tattoo removal is exploding. A perfect example, in Australia, I can talk about 2 very specific tattoos. One being the quote-unquote tramp stamp. You know, that lower back tattoo that women got 20 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, that used to be really cool. Remember the Southern Cross tattoo? There once was a time where having a Southern Cross tattoo had no negative stigma. Now, and I'm sorry to say this, but the society's impression of a Southern Cross tattoo is embarrassing. If you have it, you're quote unquote bogan. Now, this is not necessarily true at all, but this is what happens when trends change. Imagine if you have a lower back tattoo that you got when it was the coolest thing in the world. Now, 20 years later, the trends shift. Trends are an interesting thing. Let me give you another couple examples. Fashion. Now, if you think about the fashion in the 80s to the fashion today, pretty different stuff. And if you were wearing your 80s outfit with your flared pants and whatnot, which funnily enough, it's kind of coming back into fashion, but you would be slightly embarrassed to wear fashion from the 80s in today's modern world. Another interesting similarity is haircuts. Now let's talk about the infamous mullet. Or even better yet, let's talk about a perm while we're on the topic of the 80s. If you had a perm in the 80s and you were never allowed to change your hairstyle, imagine having that perm today in 2025. How would you feel? Outdated, embarrassed, a little bit silly, to be honest. Why? Because trends change. Tattoo removal has taught me many things, and one of those things is that tattoos are trending. I have watched Southern Crosses and lower back tattoos all be cool and then turn to not being so cool. I have also noticed a pattern where there's certain styles of tattoos that don't trend. And by that, I mean a really big one for me is Japanese art. Japanese art is awesome, and it's never super cool. It's never not cool. It's just stable. It just is what it is. Japanese art is one of those tattoo styles that never trends. It's never a fad. It's never not cool. It just is what it is. A few examples of modern day trend tattoos: the underboob tattoo, that big sternum tattoo that women get, in my opinion, and sorry if this offends you, but it's the modern day tramp stamp. That upper sternum underboob region, I have a funny feeling that in 20 years, that is the modern day tramp stamp. Because tattoos are trending, it is a problem. If the goalposts are continuously changing, this tattoo's cool, 10 years later, it's not cool. A lot of people are getting caught with their pants down. And when the tattoo shifts, society's impression of that tattoo becomes slightly negative. That is why tattoo removal is exploding. Hey guys, on that topic, I want to hear your tattoo removal stories. I have pinned a comment below and I want you to reply to that. Tell me your tattoo removal stories as to why you think tattoo removal is exploding or why you have tattoo regret. I will also pick questions to answer out of those comments. The second reason I believe tattoo removal is exploding as an industry is because we're all growing older. Now, I know that kind of sounds, obviously, but let me explain this to you. This is potentially the hippiest thing you'll ever hear me say, and that is your life is always evolving. You as a person naturally grows and develops and is continuously changing your entire life. A big reason a lot of clients get their tattoos removed is because they got their tattoo when they were 18 or 20. Now they're 30, they've outgrown that person, and that tattoo no longer resembles them as who they are today. This is absolutely inevitable. Human beings are designed to grow. There's nothing you can do by the time you're 20 to the time you're 40 to the time you're 60. Your life has changed drastically many times. So there's a common thing where people say, oh man, I shouldn't get a tattoo till I'm 30 because that way I'm grown up. I got news for you. That's not true either. If you get a tattoo when you're 30, by the time you're 60, you're a totally different person again. So I believe that tattoos are somewhat of a time bomb. And by that, I mean, it is inevitable that you will outgrow that tattoo to some degree. How much you change as a person is a large variable within that, but I do believe that everybody outgrows their tattoo to some degree. The third reason I believe tattoo removal is exploding is tattoos age. And funnily enough, last week I did an episode, and that episode is about what happens when you remove a tattoo. Now, my third topic today goes hand in hand with last week's video. So if you want to watch what happens when you get a tattoo removed, click the playlist below and you will see that video, and I think you'll love it. In last week's video, I go on to explain about how tattoos blur and disintegrate. And I believe this is a large reason as to why tattoo removal is exploding in popularity. So we've covered trends, we've covered people growing as human beings. The third one is tattoos blurring and disintegrating over time. So even if you disagree with my second topic, which is the fact that you will outgrow your tattoo, the third one you cannot argue, and that is the fact, even if your tattoo resembles you, who you are entirely, within 20 years, your tattoo is going to blur and disintegrate. So that tattoo does not look as nice, as crisp as what it did when you first got it. So there's three factors, and the third one, your tattoo's naturally blurring and it is disintegrating. There's nothing you can do. So with these three factors, if you got a trending tattoo, if you got a lower back tattoo or a Southern Cross, there's a really good chance that you're going to be somewhat embarrassed by that because society's view, for lack of a better word, has changed. The second reason is that there's a really good chance you have outgrown that tattoo. And the third, even if you don't care if it's an embarrassing tattoo, even if you don't care that you've outgrown it, it is inevitable that the third one has got you, and that is the tattoo is blurring and disintegrating as you get older. Because of these three reasons, tattoo removal will continue to explode. As us as human beings, an aging generation gets older, we will outgrow, trends will change, and our tattoos will naturally keep blurring and disintegrating. Guys, if you have enjoyed this topic that I have spoke about today, I have a video that I think you're going to love. Last week, I did an episode And that episode talks about exactly what happens when you get a tattoo removed. I am here to educate you. I am here to share my knowledge in the industry to help equip and prepare you for your tattoo removal experience. So I highly recommend clicking the playlist below, which you will find in the description, and finding that video where I talk about what happens when you get a tattoo removed.